Did you get any anonymous questions?
I did have a question, yes, actually, Maharaj, from an anonymous. I think it's a different anonymous, though. But anyway, shall I give you the question?
Yeah.
The question is, let me just find it here. The question is if, it says, Srila Sridhar Maharaj says in Prapana Jivanamritam that we have to accept the favorable and reject the unfavorable to progress in spiritual life. But first of all, is that really necessary if we're following the four regulative principles and chanting 16 rounds every day? And secondly, what is favorable for Krishna consciousness and what is unfavorable for Krishna consciousness in a general sense?
Yeah. So these are principles of Sharanagati, surrender. So the question is, why does somebody think that because they're following the four regulative principles, which is no meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and gambling, and they're not really essential positions, we can say, of Krishna consciousness, they're essential. But there are so many other societies that follow those principles that don't even have any spiritual life. They don't practice anything of spiritual life. So those principles in themselves don't mean anything about spiritual life. They mean coming to the basic platform of human life. Without following those principles, you have not become a human yet. Then, if you're a human, you may be able to practice spiritual life. May be able, not necessarily for sure. So, and so as far as following four regulative principles, there are many animals that follow these four regulative principles. And what is the other point? Chanting what?
16 rounds every day.
Chanting 16 rounds every day. But again, there's no explanation of the quality of those 16 rounds, whether they're done in pure consciousness or they're done negligently but still done, or, we have no 16 rounds a day. We don't have any, just on the basis of that statement, we don't know whether this chanting of 16 rounds a day is being done without making any of the offenses against the holy name. There's a booklet we also read that has the 10 offenses against the holy name, and that's just starters. But I mean, if somebody's chanting 16 rounds a day, but still committing the nam-aparads, which we're told to avoid when we receive our japa, then how do we know that that person just chanting 16 rounds a day and following the four regulative principles, how do we know that that person is chanting properly? And how do we know, that if that person following the four regulative principles, whether they're actually Vaishnavas or not? Well, we assume they're Vaishnavas because by agreeing to the four regulative principles and chanting 16 rounds a day, we're assuming that they have taken initiation from a spiritual master. But again, we don't know what is the connection with that spiritual master, or what the quality of that person's devotional attitude is. So as far as accepting everything favorable and rejecting everything unfavorable, first of all, we would ask, why would you not want to follow that? Why would you not want to accept what is favorable for your spiritual life? Why wouldn't you want to accept that? That would seem to me be very obvious, that you would want to accept those things which are very favorable to your spiritual advancement. And in the same breath or the same way, why would you not want to avoid what is unfavorable? Why would you not want to avoid doing those things which are actually unfavorable and cause your spiritual life and your devotional practices to diminish. Why wouldn't you want to follow those, avoid those unfavorable things? And then, as far as the question goes, well, what is the general principle behind this, behind accepting what is favorable and rejecting what is unfavorable? Again, we say accepting what is favorable is so that you will always remember Krishna. And rejecting what is unfavorable is so that you will not forget Krishna and the Vaishnavas and your spiritual master. But we say accepting what is favorable is to help you always remember Krishna. If you're avoiding what is unfavorable, avoiding things which will diminish your devotion, you're avoiding these things to keep you so that you will not forget Krishna. Now those principles are very positive. Why would you not want to always remember Krishna? And why would you not want to follow those practices which will help you never to forget Krishna? It would seem to be that you would welcome those things. And as a matter of fact, they should be welcomed because these are two of the 6 principles of Sharanagati, of surrender. So one wants to surrender to Krishna. Now, one time I do remember that one devotee told me, well, we were originally told to chant Hare Krishna and take prasadam and be happy. And then all of a sudden somebody is talking about Sharanagati, about surrender, and this was kind of like sprung on us. We didn't know about that. We didn't know we would have to surrender. Oh, I'm so sorry. You were tricked. You were tricked into thinking that you would be all right without ever having to surrender to Krishna. Sometimes to me, it's amazing how it's not that these things are negative. It's just amazing to me that how devotees, they become, like petrified, that they might have to learn something new. Like learning something new. Oh, this is very bad. Before I thought I knew everything, and now you're telling me I don't know everything, that I have to learn something else. I don't like this. I don't like to be told that I have to learn something. I thought I knew everything. I thought it was a know-it-all. To me, it's kind of like amazing to me that somebody will say, oh, nobody ever said about that before. Well, who is that walked in the door, Rupak? You have to turn on the sound.
Yeah, that's Sudevi.
Sudevi. Sudevi, how are you?
Mommy's hat. Mommy's hat. Mommy.
That's a very nice hat, Sudevi.
Mommy's hat. Mommy's hat.
You have many hats. Okay. Well, when you go outside, there's a lot of sun now?
No, I don't see it.
Yes. There's a lot of sun.
And you're in London?
Yes, Maharaj. I'm in London.
And London has a lot of sun?
Yes.
This is something new. I never heard about this before.
And today it's too much cold.
Do
Sorry, hot.
Yesterday was the solstice, right?
Yes.
The longest day of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Very sunny. What is that, Sudevi? A baseball bat?
It's a flute, Maharaj.
A what?
It's a flute.
A flute.
Yes.
Flute.
Oh.
Can
Can Sudevi play the flute?
No, she can't. She just play with the flute.
Can you play it?
I'm practicing, but just the basic, very basic.
Okay. Krista Chaitanya, how are things in Ukraine?
Dhanyavad Maharaj, Dhanyavad devotees. It's more or less the same, Maharaj.
You're in Kiev?
No, near Lviv. It's the west.
Oh, more west?
Yes, it's the west. But Kiev is the central north.
Are you in the north also, northwest?
Just middle west, I guess.
Okay.
Near the Carpathian mountains.
So that you and the devotees are all right?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you. Everyone is fine.
So no relief in sight, huh?
Unfortunately.
So do you have any plans?
No, Maharaj, actually I don't, because I cannot go outside Ukraine. Men are not allowed to go outside Ukraine now, because potentially we can be recruited to the army.
How old are you?
This year I'll be 44.
Okay. Okay, very unfortunate situation. I don't know this attack by Russia.
And how are you, Maharaj? You are back in the US?
Yeah, I came back yesterday afternoon. I was going to I went to Tijuana in Mexico, and right on the border. I was going to go to also to Guadalajara, but actually I was still tired because I only came back from India about 2 weeks ago, a little more than 2 weeks ago, or 2 weeks before I went to Tijuana. And I was, the Govinda Mela is coming up here, and I was actually too tired to travel again, so I came back to California. And now I'll go to the Govinda Mela, and then from there I'll go to Mexico.
Now the US have dropped the necessity to have a COVID test before coming.
Have they done that?
Yeah, dropped it.
Do you have to have vaccination also?
You do have to have vaccination, though. Yes.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
So you have that?
Yeah, I had all of that, and that was mainly why I had it, actually, so that I wouldn't have any trouble for traveling.
Okay. I didn't know that they necessarily had a vaccination requirement. I knew that they did, but I didn't know if they dropped it or not.
Not yet.
They didn't, huh?
No.
You know that for sure, right?
Yeah, I looked on their CDC website, and you still have to show proof of having all vaccination.
Okay.
But I think they're under pressure to drop it, because most places have dropped it now. So who knows, between now and 18th of July, they may drop that too. Who knows?
Maybe. But since you already have the vaccination, it doesn't really make any difference to you.
No difference to us. But I was a bit anxious about getting that test done because we fly on a Monday. I couldn't find anywhere that was open to do the test on the Sunday, and you have to have it like no more than 1 day before. That was the rule. So, and they dropped it, and okay, that's all right.
But I believe I flew on Monday also when I was in London, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And I got the test done at
the airport, though. Yeah.
Yeah, on Sunday.
Yeah, it's a bit far to go for me on Sunday. Yeah. I could have got it done on the Monday morning, but it's like cutting it so fine. Anyway, yeah. So it's not a problem now.
Yeah, you could have done it on Sunday, just driven there, and then gone from there, stayed overnight in the temple, and then gone to the airport from the Heathrow temple.
Yeah, could have done that, yeah.
But it doesn't matter since they dropped it. In Bhagavan, there's Madhu Gopal. Okay, Madhu Gopal, you're good. ¿Está bien? Oh, Madhu Gopal. ¿Estás bien? No hay sonido. So, Falguni,
un gusto verla, Maharaj, un gusto tenerlo en Tijuana y siempre muy contentos de tenerlo siempre en Tijuana y esperemos ir también al Govinda Mela.
Okay.
Parece ser que con Prabhu llegan a Swami.
¿Tú vas al Govinda Mela?
Sí, Maharaj, estoy tratando de viajar con Prabhu Jagannath Swami.
Okay, muy bien. Muy bien. Falguni, did Gaur Chandra come back?
Yes, he's waiting for Devashis to let him in.
Am I? Is he? Oh, yeah, sorry. So. Yeah, I didn't see. You should tell me. I don't always see when people come in.
Pues tú sabes que la cosa es que no dejamos a cualquiera entrar.
Exacto, hay un ticket alto, yo no tengo con qué pagar. ¿Cómo está, Maharaj? How are you?
Muy chévere. ¿Qué estás bebiendo? ¿Malta?
Sí, Super Malta.
Super Malta.
Muy buena.
¿Quién lo hace?
Holland.
Suvasini, how are you?
Dandavats, Maharaj. Yeah, I'm good. How are you, Maharaj?
Oh, good. Entonces,
Maharaj, I have a question.
Yeah. What about Bhagavan? I want to see I see his name, but we don't see him. Bhagavan. And whose picture? Oh, that's Mother. Dhanyavad Bhagavan. No hay sonido. ¿Estás en Venezuela?
Maharaj. Estaba fuera en el frente hablando con un señor que llegó a tocarme la puerta, entonces no pude prendí la computadora y me afuera a hablar. Llegando. How are you, Maharaj? You okay? Are you fine? Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm good. You're in Venezuela?
Yes, yes. Still, I'm here in Venezuela, Maharaj.
Okay.
I'm going to work.
All right, Gaur Chandra, what's your question? You got no sound. No sound.
Sorry. When we read the evolution of the conscience, Maharaj, there are many references to Milton and Hegel and Nietzsche, and there are many references of Guru Maharaj to all these Western philosophers and different type of philosophies. And I was wondering if this is something that Guru Maharaj used to explain to Westerners, or it was part of the whole approach to learning from different cultures on his way to explain the philosophy.
I believe Guru Maharaj uses it to be able to explain to Westerners. He uses how to show how there are different currents or different philosophies in Western thinking that can be explained in reference to the Vedas, and explained in reference to Krishna consciousness in particular, that some of these Western philosophers will express different tenets, and Guru Maharaj will apply them to Krishna consciousness. Just like in Hegel, he says, Hegel mentions thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. That's something Guru Maharaj mentioned. Now, I don't know how prominent that is in the thread of Hegel's philosophy, but Guru Maharaj drew upon it and explained how it's a particular way of approaching something. That first you approach something and you establish a thesis, and then you hear many different facets about that you're coming in contact with, and there may be some persons who will present something of antithesis that they do not accept, but they're giving their reasons why they cannot accept all the points. And then there comes synthesis. Synthesis means that you're able to harmonize everything and go forward with that idea. And I believe Guru Maharaj he appreciated that idea of thought development, and it is not incompatible. It's not incompatible with, just way of approaching an argument. But it's something I can say that Guru Maharaj did instinctively, even without knowing or without accepting that, because we always heard from Srila Govinda Maharaj how Guru Maharaj, when he's presenting a particular thesis, you can say, he would say to people, now you present your arguments, you present your point. And they would do so. And then Guru Maharaj would defeat their different points. That was one of the ways that Guru Maharaj would approach arguments. That, all right, you present your viewpoint. You have something contradictory to what we are saying, then you present your viewpoint. And then Guru Maharaj can say, Yes, but if this was true, then this would follow. But that cannot be, so then your argument falls down on these different points. But it was one of the ways that Guru Maharaj would be able to defeat critics by saying, all right, you present your argument first. Then Guru Maharaj would defeat that argument. So you could say that has some adaptation to thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. That very approach that Guru Maharaj instinctively would, not instinctively, but you could say that was how Guru Maharaj would be able to win over critics by that method. All right, you present what are the main points. And we heard one time the person went on for a very long time, said, no, you let me finish. And the man went through many, many points. Do you remember how many points they were?
Like, I think it's like 100 points.
Yeah, and he said, now point one, if this were true, then this would follow, but that cannot be. And then he would say, then 2, 3, and 4 of this nature, and then he would give the argument. And 5 and 9 are based on this. But Guru Maharaj very methodically could defeat those arguments. So that was one of the ways that Guru Maharaj approached critics. I'm stepping aside here for 1 minute. Getting some water or something. Gaura Chandra, do you have another question?
No, Maharaj. I'm mentioning this just to share with you because I was reading recently about Confucius. How do you say in English? Confucianism.
Confucius.
And, Confucius, and the most important part of his whole philosophy was for the people to follow rituals. And if everyone in society will follow rituals, then the society will be more organized and everybody will be doing their own bit. And I found that we also follow a lot of rituals. Like, we wake up at a certain time, we do this, we do asanas, we do the japa, we do the archana. And I wanted to see what was your opinion about these kind of things.
1 second. I'm making some experiments here. This in Mexico they call a rusa. They call this, but we could call it a Ukrania. This is it consists of seltzer water, lemon, and salt. This would be good to introduce in your restaurant, Gaurachandra.
Kind of. We do something like that with ginger beer, soda water, and lime juice.
Yeah. They also have a cooler like that, which is ginger beer, you say, and what? No sound again.
We mix ginger beer, tonic water, and lime juice. It's very nice.
This is very good when it's hot. This is just plain mineral water with carbonation, some lemon, and a little bit of salt.
Here in the UK, people love agua fresca. They love it.
They love what?
Agua fresca, Jamaica.
Yeah, but this is going to be another drink. It's very easy. Carbonated water, lemon, and salt. In Mexico, it's called a rusa, which means a Russian, but we can call it a Ukrania. So I didn't hear everything you said, Gaurachandra. You asked me if Guru Maharaj was citing the philosophers just for the Westerners, or it was done as part of his
method, let's say.
Well, I think both, actually. I think it was to have some approach with Westerners in terms of philosophy, but it's also part of his method. He could draw upon different points of reference in order to be able to proceed. I mean, Guru Maharaj was very poetical. That was part of also it. And his poetical and his very broad intellect, which could approach many different subjects, but always everything related to Krishna consciousness. That is the beauty of it. So Devashish, what do you think? Well, maybe I should not discuss this in an open environment. It was Krishna Mohini, which Krishna Mohini in Spain.
Dandavat Maharaj, yes, in Spain. Dandavat to all the devotees, Dandavat.
Dandavat.
Maharaj, I have a question.
That's because you and Gaurachandra are in the same room and you're getting feedback from one machine to the other. I don't know how to I think if you turn just on the sound of one machine, it will work and we'll be able to hear.
Okay. How can we develop attachment for a service in a practical way? Is it possible to do it in a practical way? Meaning, you were discussing this on the class on Saturday with one of the questions of the devotees. And my question is mainly like, is it through constant practice that we can develop the attachment for the service?
Well, we talked about all kinds of different forms of service. There may be one form of service developed in relationship with one's family. And then we want to, just like if we consider an extended family consisting father, mother, children, etc., or it could just be husband and wife, but we'll be in that case of that verse of Maharaj Rishabdev. I want to just cite the verse properly. It's from the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so I'm getting this verse. Here it is. It's, let's see. I know this verse, so. It's Gurur na satshat, Svajano na satshat, Pita na satshat, Janani na satshat, Daivam na tatshan, Napatis cha sashan, Namocha yedya samupetim rityum. So you can understand this verse. Gurur na satshat, Svajano na satshat. One should not, one should not be a spiritual master, or one should not be a relative. Pita na satshad, one should not become a father. Janani na satshad, one should not become a mother. Daivam na satshad, one should not become a demigod. Daivam na satshat, napatis cha satshan. And one should not become a husband. Namocha yet yasamupetim rityum. If one cannot deliver one's dependence from the repeated cycle of birth and death. So that's the verse. Gurur na satchad, Swajano na satchad, Pita na satchad, Janani na satchad, Daivam na tatshan, na patischa sashan, na mocha yedya samupetim rityum. And that's from the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And these are, believed, this is the teachings of, let's see, I don't know if this is the teachings of Maharaj Rishabdev. Let's see. So let's see. Maybe if we see who can. That's from the fifth volume, 5th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam. I don't know if it's the teachings of Maharaj Rishabdev or not. But it's saying this, we can, on the first point I said, one kind of service is in relationship to our husband or wife or our father or our mother or our children. We all have this one level of responsibility. Guru Namocha yadya samupetam rityum. If one cannot deliver one's dependence from Maya, from the cycle of birth and death, one has to be able to do that. So that's all right. There's one kind of service, but everybody has this kind of service. They should act in such a way that they teach other persons about Krishna consciousness. So that's one level of service. Then another level of service is that we have some service relationship with perhaps our community, the temple, in a community. You're living in England, so there's temples in England, and you have some relationship with those temples that you want to help the devotees reach other people. So you have some service relationship with the mission in England, all right? Then another level of service is that you also have some relationship or responsibility with the central mott. Now, in terms of our relationship with Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Govinda Maharaj and Srila Acharya Maharaj, we have some level of participation and responsibility with them. So that's another level of service. Now you're asking, so Falguni, you're asking how we can develop what, a taste for service?
Yes.
So you want to know how we can develop a taste for service. Well, we already have different levels of responsibility for our service. So how can we develop some taste? But you already have some taste for service just by the fact that you're practicing Krishna consciousness. Like you have a relationship, for instance, with Gaurachandra, and you're doing a restaurant, and you're also, through the work of your restaurant, you're trying to reach people with another level of consciousness, that you don't need to just kill animals and eat them and have a very polluted life. You're also teaching something through your restaurant. Now you can also say, well, yes, we're also trying to make some money so we can live, because England's very expensive to live in England, and we want to earn some money, so we're also doing a business. But you're not in, I was going to say, but your purpose is not to, in having the business, your purpose is not just to make money. You're also trying to educate people on certain points of Krishna consciousness, that they don't have to have, they don't have to be, for instance, obviously killing cows and eating them and all other things like that. So there's something going on that level. But you want to, when you say you want to, how can we develop some taste for service? Well, I would also say that to me, that question implies a taste for service to the central mott, to your guru. You want to know how you can develop a service relationship to your guru, right? Now, you're a disciple of Govinda Maharaj?
Acharya Maharaj.
Acharya Maharaj, okay. So you're a disciple of Acharya Maharaj. And he has his mission. And now, to a certain extent, we see some dishonesty. Some people who want to try and take over Acharya Maharaj's mission. So you're thinking, well, what can I do to serve my guru? Because if I put money in an envelope or send money through the bank, it may not go to the right hands. Is that correct? So you're under some consideration about your question also implies I want to do some service, but I'm not so sure how to do this service, because it's no longer so simple. Before I could just speak to Acharya Maharaj and he would tell me what to do, and then I would do it. And I would say, Gurudev, how can I serve you? And then he would say, I need your help to do this, or something like that. And then you could do that. But now it's not so easy, because Gurudev is no longer present to answer your questions immediately, although you can ask him within yourself and pray for guidance, etc. So in that way, I would say that how to increase a taste for service and how to be able to know about service and everything, I would personally want to associate with those devotees who have a similar conception of your own and who are also following the teachings of your guru, and try to find out in the association of those devotees, reach some agreement of how we can proceed to increase our service to Gurudev, like that. And right now everything is not so easy, because, for instance, we know Acharya Maharaj passed away, and we would like to help with his samadhi. But we cannot just send money, because we don't know who will receive that money and whether they'll do anything to help make the samadhi. So sometimes Guru Maharaj used to say, wait and see. Wait and see. So waiting and seeing is not necessarily bad. It doesn't mean that I don't want to do service or I have no taste for service. But I want to see what will be the best way of doing some service. Now, I would say, since you do mention you're a disciple of Acharya Maharaj, one of the things we tried to do when we went to India is to be able to open a canal where the devotees who are following Acharya Maharaj can, have some person who will be responsible for their mission. So we thought maybe we considered that who was following Acharya Maharaj, then we will try to make that person responsible for serving Acharya Maharaj's mission. That's what we tried to do when we went there. So in this way, if you are in contact, if you want to serve Acharya Maharaj's mission in India also, you can be in contact with Ashram Maharaj, myself, and we're trying to work with Nariya Maharaj. That can help. And you can also do service in London through Devashis and Saraswati for the mission there. I'm still also hoping that someday Venezuela will begin to develop again, in the sense of the mission will be able to develop. I know, I'm not saying the devotees are not doing well. I'm talking about the government interference. So maybe in the future the mission in Venezuela will all be able to develop. And maybe someday you and Gaurachandra will decide, we will visit Venezuela, because we still have some emotional attachments to the country. Is that true, Gaurachandra, or not?
No.
No. No, not at all.
I mean, no. No.
Okay, you only have to say no once. We hear it's going no,
Bueno,
no.
Ya le pusiste mute allá, mute side. Ajá. No, Maharaj, I think what you're saying is very very correct, and there are many ways to help here, because Sarasvati and all the thing in the West London, and I guess that it's not different in the East London temple. There is always such a need for hands. It's such a need for hands that to be able to help somehow and to go to the programs and to take care of, for example, she makes this program of distribution of prasadam twice a week. And now they are even doing it less because it's too much for themselves. So it is an idea, of course, to try to participate more on that kind of programs. That we have done it, but we have to do it more and more and more and more. And of course, going to Venezuela eventually. I mean, I would love to see Amita and Purujit and the devotees and Sadhu Maharaj and the deities, and that's it.
What about this distribution of prasadam? What's that consist of? What do they do in London? Now, what happened? How come there's no Saraswati? Oh, she's
in Glastonbury.
Huh?
She's at Glastonbury.
What?
Glastonbury.
Glastonbury, is that it?
Yeah, Glastonbury Rock Festival.
Oh. What kind of rocks do they get?
Paul McCartney and Diana Ross this year.
Diana Ross?
Yeah.
From the Supremes?
Yeah.
Oh.
But they don't go for that. They don't even see any of that.
So when you are they going to be distributing prasadam there?
Yeah, there'll be some prasadam distribution, some book distribution, some kirtan. But main thing is they're doing, like massage and things to raise funds.
Okay.
That's
now what about if you're distributing prasadam and I say, I have some nice stew consisting of meat, and I'd like to put your prasadam mixed in with my stew to give it a better taste.
I think they would say, please don't tell us about that. You do whatever you're going to do, but don't tell us.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That they may not tell you, but do we really want prasadam to be taken in that way?
Yeah, though. I mean, when what they do really is they invite people. We're having our meal. You join us, and people come and sit with them and take prasadam. They don't go around and give it out to people so much.
I thought they had little stapled bags of prasadam that they gave out to people.
Well, I don't know. But that's not the main thing they're doing there. The main thing they're doing is this massage, and then in the evening they'll have some prasadam, and then anyone who's around there, they'll say, we'd like to come and take some holy food with us, and like that.
So this massage, I don't know. This massage means massaging people?
Yeah, head and shoulder massage. It's always like with clothes on and, quite respectable. Yeah.
Head and shoulder massage.
And people give some money, £20 or £30 or something each time.
And do they actually know how to do massage?
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah. I mean, Saraswati is qualified. Ishanuga has proper qualification. They have to have insurance and everything to do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But can they actually say, if somebody says, can they actually say, no, something, I prefer not to even touch you?
Yeah. Sometimes people come and they're drunk or they're intoxicated some way, and they just say, come back when you're sober. We don't, if you're drunk or come back another time.
Yeah. Yeah, well. I think in those cases, even so, I think I would prefer to do Reiki massages where you don't even touch the person.
Yeah, you don't even have to be there.
Yeah. You know something? Yeah. I prefer not even to be near you.
It's quite a sacrifice, actually. They're just sleeping in the cold field on the grass, you know. It's like in a tent, but you know, it's not my idea of a fun time. But they do that, and they raise quite a lot of money.
Okay, I guess. So did we get any other questions? I don't know if that answered. I think, Falguni, the main thing that one has to do in order to develop some taste for doing devotional service is to keep some association with people of a like mind with us. Not just association with anybody, but association with devotees who have a like mind, who are thinking a little bit like we do, you know, that they have some appreciation for what you also believe in. This chair is really terrible. I don't know what to do with this. It looks almost like some kind of a special chair, but it's actually one of these lazy boy chairs.
Yeah, thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah. Do you have any question, Krishna Chaitanya?
No, Maharaj, currently I don't. Maharaj, yesterday it was a disappearance day of Pushta Krishna Prabhu. Can you say something about him?
Yes.
Yesterday or the day before yesterday.
Yes, I know Pushta Krishna from a long time because I was. Estoy haciendo un programa de Zoom con los devotos de Inglaterra.
¿Está ocupado?
Sí, estoy haciendo un programa.
Hello.
Okay.
Welcome, Maharaj. Hello.
Hello. I'm doing this program of Zoom with the devotees from England.
Wow, very nice. Good.
All right.
Okay, we will take your time.
Dandava.
Pero venga, te lo ponemos en un vasito.
Okay, ven.
Sí, ven, un vasito. En algún lado. Sí.
All right, so.
¿Dónde lo ponemos? Un vasito.
I don't know.
A ver si hay algo por aquí.
So, anyway, the question was, can I say something about Pushta Krishna? Was his disappearance day recently. So, when I met Pushta Krishna, at one point we were in Bombay. And I believe in 1971, we were in Bombay. I was there with Srila Prabhupada, and there was a program going on in Bombay. And Pushta Krishna, a war started with Pakistan. Pero uso ese vaso.
Bueno, y este usa. Espérate. ¿Y este lo usa?
No, no tanto.
Good. Here, because he used that. Here.
So
Let's wash it.
we were in Bombay, and
Okay.
and a war started in Pakistan. So Pushta Krishna and I think some devotees who were preaching in Pakistan, they had to leave Pakistan because the war started there. So they went to Bombay, and then se puede poner en la mesa.
En la mesa,
Yeah.
de table.
So brought some flowers, special flowers.
Special to welcome Maharaj.
Okay, thank you. This is Hari Priya
Yes.
and
Susmita. Yo soy
and
Susmita.
Susmita. Hari Priya is from Colombia, and Susmita's from.
Say hello.
And this is Hari Priya. And
Hello.
Hari
Hello.
Priya, and this is Susmita.
From Iran.
Susmita's from Iran.
Iran from Iran.
She
But
ran.
I'm so happy to be here.
Okay, she ran from Iran. Okay. So then, actually, she ran from Iran a long time ago. So Pushta Krishna came to Bombay because he also ran from Pakistan. He ran from Pakistan because a war started there. He had to leave. And they came there, and Srila Prabhu was there for a program, so then I met Pushta Krishna when he came. And then when I knew Pushta Krishna in India, he was there for some time. And then later, I stayed in India, and then I was in South America, and he was in America, and he became a famous surgeon. He was a big doctor, very famous surgeon, and his specialty was shoulder replacements and hip replacement and knee replacements, and like this. He did hip, shoulder, knee replacements, things like this. He was a very good orthopedic surgeon. Very famous too. Good surgeon. And he also, like we heard that that Mahaprabhu gave one instruction for one doctor devotee. The doctor's devotee's name was Mukunda, and he was the royal physician to the Muslim king in India, in Bengal, that Mukunda. He was a doctor. But Mahaprabhu told him his responsibility was to earn spiritual and material wealth and help the devotees. So also Pushta Krishna was doing like that. He was a famous doctor, surgeon, but many of his patients, Pushta Krishna liked to talk to everybody about Krishna consciousness. So people who were his patients, he also taught them about devotional service and Krishna consciousness. Nobody could go to Pushta Krishna without hearing something about Krishna consciousness and devotional service. He was very good. And he was very devoted to Srila Prabhupada. But then one time Govinda Maharaj came to Sokel here, and he had a big program, and at that time Pushta Krishna didn't know about the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mother so much like that. He only knew at that time something about the ISKCON. He was active in ISKCON. So when Govinda Maharaj did a program in Santa Cruz, actually, the program wasn't here in Soquel, it was in Santa Cruz, which is very near to Soquel, maybe 5 miles away. And Govinda Maharaj did a program, and Govinda Maharaj was up on the stage and talking about Krishna consciousness, but then the devotees did a big kirtan, and the stage was about over 4 feet off the ground, and Srila Govinda Maharaj went to the edge of the stage and suddenly jumped down. Govinda Maharaj jumped from the stage to where the devotees were, and he began singing, doing kirtan and singing and dancing with the devotees. He jumped from the stage and he joined with the devotees. And Pushta Krishna became so charmed by Srila Govinda Maharaj. He liked Govinda Maharaj so much that he became attracted to Govinda Maharaj, and then he began doing service for Srila Govinda Maharaj and for the mission, and he helped build some of the constructions like say Guru Maharaj's Samadhi and other things. Pushta Krishna and the temple, and maybe the temple, I don't remember which temple, maybe I believe Govardhan. Pushta Krishna helped build some of the temples. He was very much liked Govinda Maharaj. He became very attracted to Govinda Maharaj. And his wife is Daru Brahma. She's a very nice devotee. She's very dedicated. And in particular, she sews clothes for the deities in the ISKCON temple. They have Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, and other. And she sews clothes for the deities, and she's also active, and she helped us with our deities. Now, I think it's about, what is it? I think it's maybe 2 or 3 years, I'm not sure what year Pushta Krishna left. Let's see. Let me just see if we can find out. I can't. Maybe 3 years now, I believe. Maybe 3 years since Pushta Krishna left. Do you remember what year it was? I was in England when Ramai left.
Oh, I think it was maybe 2019 or 2018.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. 2018, and maybe Pushta Krishna left in 2019. I'm not really.
I think it's 2019, Maharaj.
That what?
That Ramai passed away because you were going to come here and then you left for California.
Was that 2019?
Yes, Maharaj, I think so, 2019.
Okay, then I think Pushta Krishna might have left in 2020. And now it's 2 years since he left. Anyway, he was a very nice devotee. He participated here in the mission. He was And he was always very enthusiastic about preaching. He did a preaching program once a week, and also was very active in ISKCON too. So, but as I said, he became very attracted to Govinda Maharaj. He really very much liked Govinda Maharaj, and he participated with us because of that attraction. And that made him cross over from ISKCON to the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math, and he became active in our mission. But like that, he's a very good surgeon, but nobody could see him about any kind of surgery without hearing about Krishna. He would always talk to people about Krishna consciousness, and some of the people who went to see him, he made them devotees. That's the kind of, he would not talk to anybody without talking about Krishna consciousness. Everybody, he talked to everybody about Krishna consciousness. Did you meet him, Devashish?
Yes, Maharaj, quite a few times, yeah. In India and also in California as well. But I met him when he came to see Gurudev in Navadvip. First time.
Do you remember when that was?
Oh gosh, no. My brain is bad for that. I don't remember. Quite a while ago, though.
Oh yeah, obviously, because even we know it's a while ago because Gurudev even left in 2010.
Yeah.
He was active for many years before Gurudev left.
Yeah, he came with his whole family that time, I remember.
Yeah, he has his wife Daru Brahma. He has a son named
Chaitanya
Das, and he has a daughter named Krishna Priya. And Krishna Priya now is a big surgeon, and she's a big doctor also.
Wow. So it was a long time ago because they were both young kids then.
Yeah, and now she's doing doctorate work.
Wow.
I mean, not doctorate in the university. She's working herself as a doctor. I believe also maybe surgeon too. So, any other questions?
Thank you, Maharaj.
So, I think I'm going to end a little early, only for the reason I'm still kind of exhausted.
Yes, Maharaj.
I came back from Tijuana yesterday, and I was down there 10 days. But before that, I came back from 1 month in India, and then England, and then in Ireland. So I've never had a chance to completely rest from those trips. So I think I'll stop today at this time, and we'll meet next week again.
Yes, Maharaj.
Dandava Maharaj, thank you.
Do you think the devotees are coming back from next week? Will they be back from what is it,
Glastonbury.
Glastonbury. Where is Glastonbury?
It's in the west of England. It's like near Bristol.
Uh-huh.
Bristol and near to Somerset.
All right. So various very famous places in the west of England.
Yeah, it's quite famous in its own right as well. Meant to be the site of Avalon, or the place of King Arthur. Anyway, much kind of like mythology around the place.
Oh. King Arthur and the folding table, right?
The round table, yeah.
King Arthur and the folding
the picnic table.
The King Arthur and the folding table. King Arthur and the folding chairs.